2, 1, and done. Okay, we open up this part. This will be the last part of your assignment. It says use the change of base formula on a calculator to evaluate the logarithm to 6 decimal places. So this is a really key thing we're teaching you. It's super easy. You're going to need your calculator. If you don't have your calculator, take it out. But this is saying if this is equal to, we'll say x, and the question is 6 to what power is equal to 14? And we got tired of guessing because we said that 6 to the 0 is equal to 1, 6 to the 1 is equal to 6, 6 to the second is equal to 36. So you're like, oh, okay, so it's got to be somewhere between 1 and 2. But we don't just want to guess all the time, right? That would take forever. So how can we figure it out? Very simple. Log base 6 of 14 is the same thing as log of 14 divided by log of 6. You simply do log of 14 divided by log of 6. Or natural log of 14 divided by natural log of 6. Either one will work so long as you keep the same base. So we'll grab our calculator. Make sure that you type this in correctly. I have log of 14. Notice how I have to close my parentheses. Divided by the log of 6. And if I were to try the same thing for natural log of 14 divided by, whoa, where'd you go? 14 divided by the natural log of 6, I get 1.472 in both situations. Any question? Pretty easy, right? So you try the last one. Log base 14 of 1,652. Okay? Real quick, evaluate that. Oh, and by the way, we'll write it out to 3 decimal places. So what do we get? We got 1.472. Yep, right out to 3 decimal places. Doesn't matter if you round it or not. Try letter C. What'd you get? 2.808. Turns out that 14 to the 2.808 power is equal to 1,652. Now, I just want to be clear, if you want to check your answer, you can always try plugging it back in, but be very careful because you go 14 raised to the 2.808. Man, this is really a frustrating device sometimes. If I raise it to 2.08, notice I don't get the 1,652. I get 1,653. So it depends on how you round it. That's why they say to carry out to 6 decimal places. But we're not going to ask you to do 6. Just do it 3. That'll be close enough. But just be careful if you plug back. It might be a little bit different. Everybody good? Okay, so let's apply what we know to this piece right here then. Flip over your notes. We're going to do the front side of this, and then you're going to have time to work. Last hour I had about 12 minutes of class to be able to get some work done. But they were also a very giddy class last hour. There was a lot of laughing going on. Diego, was there anything funny about math?
No.
Thank you. Yes, very serious. There will be no laughing. Okay? Right, Sophie? Yeah. All right. So we want to be able to solve this equation. 8 to what power is 162? And you will not do this. If you do this, I take a spoon and gouge my eye out with it, okay? Do not divide both sides by 8. Can everybody agree we don't do that? Don't do that, folks. Furthermore, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to take the 8th root of both sides. Don't do the 8th root of both sides. That doesn't work. If you want to be able to get rid of the base of 8, this is what we do. If 8 to the x is equal to 162, what you're going to do is you're going to take the log base 8 of both sides. Remember that for equations, what you do to one side, you should do to the other. And so I take the log base 8 of both sides. We learned that log base 8 and 8 to the x are inverse operations. So they undo one another, and you're left with x. And then on the right side, we just learned how to evaluate log base 8 of 162, didn't we? We go to our calculator, and we type in log of 162, and we divide it by the log of 8. And I get 2.446. Any questions? The next problem is e to the x is equal to 2. I want to get rid of e. How do I get rid of e? How do I get rid of a base of e? I do log base e, which is the same as natural log. If you do the natural log of e to the x, notice that that goes away. You're left with x is equal to, and we have the natural log of 2. I go to my calculator. I don't need to use a change of base because I have a button for natural log. It's right here. I do the natural log of 2, and I'm left with 0.693. I want you to do letters C, E, and F on your own. Don't worry about D. Do letters C, E, and F on your own, and check with the person next to you to see if you're getting the same thing. Okay, what'd you get for letter C? 1 point?
468.
What'd you get for letter E? Should have
783.
And for letter F, x is equal to
3.219.
Anybody have a question about those three? Going once, twice, 3 times. Good. Then we'll do 4 more problems, and then we're going to do A and B. We're not going to do C. We are not going to do E. We'll do the other ones and see what we come up with here. Okay, so we're going to make them just a little bit more challenging. We have e raised to the 2x minus 3 is equal to 7. E to the 2x minus 3 is equal to 7. Okay, I want to solve for x. What do you suggest doing to both sides?
Natural log.
Good. Natural log of e to the 2x minus 3 is equal to the natural log of 7. Notice how those go away. I get 2x minus 3 is equal to the natural log of 7. Take out my handy-dandy calculator. Natural log of 7. And I get 1.946. Now it becomes a very easy equation to solve. We add 3 to both sides. 2x is equal to 4.946. And then we divide by 2. X is 2.9. We got 73.
2.473. I'm not tweaking.
Oh yeah, 2.473. Very good. Yep. Thank you.
Were you gonna add 3 to both sides?
I did. So I added 3 to the 1 to get the 4.
Yep, I see.
Okay. All right. B is a little bit more challenging. What do you want to do? Divide by 2. Excellent idea. Somebody ate their Wheaties today. Way to go. You guys know that reference, ate your Wheaties?
Yeah, we make it cereal.
Yeah. Used to be a Wheaties box with Michael Jordan's picture on it all the time. Eat your Wheaties every day. What do you want to do now?
Can you have 9?
We could subtract 9.
Or
Very good.
subtract. Whoops.
It's okay. Negative 12 to the 7 minus x is equal to negative 476. Now what?
Can you do log negative 9?
That's what most everybody goes to, and I want you to understand what the difference here. This is not negative 12 to the 7 minus x. This is 12 to the 7x times negative 1. Do you see the difference? If it had parentheses around it, then we would do log base negative 12. But this is what we're going to do instead in this situation is we're going to divide by the negative 1 to get rid of it. And we get 12 to the 7 minus x is equal to 476. So that negative is not being taken to the power. Now I do the log base 12 on both sides. I get 7 minus x is equal to, anybody got log of 476 divided by the log of 12? 2.481. I subtract 7, negative x is equal to, I'm going 4.519 on that, negative 4.519. I divide by a negative 1, and x is 4.519. So, again, I know that there's maybe classes before where you feel like, boy, what did I learn today? You guys did not know how to solve that at all before you walked into today, did you? Okay, so you're learning something new, which is a good thing. We have 2 more problems we're going to try. You are going to get a problem like letter D on the test, I promise. Looks challenging, and it is challenging. Lots of people make mistakes, so you're going to have to lean in and figure it out. What's different about this one? Yeah, I got different bases on both sides. So what do you want to do? I mean, by nature, you kind of want to do like log base 3 and log base 2, right? But that defies your logic, which says what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side, right? So you don't really have a good choice here. You just got to decide, do you want to get rid of the 3 or do you want to get rid of the 2?
The 3.
You want to get rid of the 3? Sounds good. Let's do that. Sometimes writing it down allows you to see the problem differently. You might not see where it's headed right away, but after you start going through some of the work, maybe you can see. This is the moment you want something to occur in your brain. What?
The other topics.
Yeah, remember what we practiced yesterday? If you have the logarithm with an exponent, that can be dropped out front. 2x minus 3 times log base 3 of 2. And if you're wondering what to do with the log base 3 of 2, isn't that just a number? I can compute that as a decimal and stick it out front. So I have x plus 1 is equal to, parentheses, 2x minus 3 times, what is log base 3 of 2?
0.631.
Got 0.631 out there. I can now distribute the 0.631 to both, and I get x plus 1 is equal to 1.262 minus 1.893. Can people confirm that for me? Don't trust me over the calculator.
Somebody said yeah, didn't they? I think Ty did. Somebody went, I heard it from over there.
We all good? Okay, so now we're going to combine like terms. Whoop, I need an x on this. Sorry about that. I subtract the 1.262x, and I get a negative 0.262x equals, or I subtract 1 over, I get negative 2.893. I'll divide both sides by negative 0.262. I get x is equal to, and I believe I remember from the other hours, I think it came up to be 11.115 about. See Ben doing the division here for me.
I forget what numbers. .262 negative 0.262.
Okay, 11.04. Somewhere around there. Okay. So there might be some rounding errors that come up. Okay. All right, so you've seen a couple. We do letter F, and then we'll get to our big question for the day. Letter F, letter F, letter F. Parent share. Don't try the whole problem, but just see if you can talk to your peer about what step you might take to solve this one. What might you try to do? Talk about an approach. Talk about an approach.
For sure, some trying to put it over. Well, we have.
Under natural log.
Is there a way to combine these two?
Natural log.
So that we
And
can
then
do
you
the
do it
natural
on the other
log.
side.
Don't we
Yeah.
just use this? Oh, yeah.
Already. So yeah.
Can you multiply, like, you know, sometimes we take a number and multiply the whole thing?
Yeah, it's an idea.
No, you can't do that. You have to subtract.
So here's the key to this problem here. Is do you remember that, or does this look familiar to, say, x squared minus 5x plus 4? Do you see how those two problems are similar to each other? Instead of an e to the x, I have an x. Instead of an e to the 2x, I have an x squared. If you're going to solve this, what would you do? Factor. Turns out that this thing factors quite well. Instead of x times x, we have e to the x times e to the x. So now what are the two numbers that multiply to positive 4 that add to negative 5? So now we're going to use that great thing called the zero product property. We're going to set both of these pieces equal to 0. E to the x minus 1 is equal to 0. And e to the x minus 4 is equal to 0. So in other words, 1 is e to the x equal to 1. And excellent. So Evie's seen this. E to what power is 1? 0. And if you were to solve it, a lot of people don't see this, but you get x equal to, the natural log of 1 is 0 because e to the 0 power is 1. Okay? So there's two ways to kind of see that. Okay? The next side, you add the 4, you get e to the x is equal to 4. You take the natural log of both sides, and we get x is equal to, and the natural log of 4 is 1 point. Somebody? 386. So I have two solutions, 0 and 1.386. You okay with that? Awesome. So before we get to your homework, we're just going to spend a couple minutes here and answer a big question. Move to the very back page of your notes, all the way to the back.